I think they should print this press release off and conference call and put it in the Louvre. I mean, if you look, the cloud numbers here are off the charts. Copilot, remember, this is all about AI. Copilot, you have over 1 million customers right now from a subscriber perspective. Enterprises are lining up. Monetization's here. This is just the start of the revolution. Right. I think this is as bullish as we could have expected.
Dan Ives, go out 3 years. I was talking with our great Joel Levington this morning about, the timeline out. I want you to be an adult. I don't care about the next trading day. I don't even care how we get Microsoft to Valentine's Day. Give me 2026. Where is this juggernaut then?
I think it's somewhere between 4 to 5 trillion. I mean, but Tom, we'll just put some numbers around it.
Please.
There's an incremental 100 to 125 billion of cloud revenue not reflected in street numbers. If you put that into EPS, I mean, you're really essentially looking at what could be an incremental $3 to $4 of EPS that's now reflected in the stock.
Yeah, well, I was on the conference call and I said to Satya, I said, don't get rid of Diablo 4. But tell me about Activision, because I looked at the free cash flow explosion and everybody's been out of shape about the revenue of Activision. I'm looking at the profit from day one. It's larger than what we would call Windows business. What does profit at Activision do out 2 years, 3 years?
Well, I think it's really about the cross-sell opportunity. I mean, that's something that probably could increase another 20, 25% for me. From a profitability perspective, that's just going to give them more and more of a tailwind, because in the scheme of things, it's a rounding error, relative to the overall business. But what they're doing now, they're just broadening out on the consumer and on the enterprise, gaining more and more strength. And you look at the numbers are just, they're jaw-dropping.
They're truly, folks, from the scope and scale of this.
Yep.
To me, it's the Rockefeller buildup back in the 1890s to 1920. Paul, LinkedIn up 9%.
I know, it's just amazing. Hey, Dan, I know you don't cover Alphabet per se, but what do you think, this just AI and ChatGPT for our friends in Seattle, what does that mean for kind of the global search business?
Well, I think, look, if you look at Alphabet, the advertising, even though, some could sort of split hairs here, I think actually really strong when we saw it from YouTube and a lot of their assets. I think the big thing on Alphabet is just what's happening in Google Cloud. You look at that, some of the parts, I mean, they're just starting to tap into that massive opportunity in the cloud. And we've talked about, one of my colleagues, Scott Devitt, that could add $30 to $40 per share to the Google store.
Just real simple here. Apple tomorrow, Amazon tomorrow. What do you expect?
Look, New York City cab drivers bearish on Apple, in terms of units and everything. And I think China's actually been relatively stable. I think that's going to be a breath of fresh air from Cook and Cupertino on units, on services, and on Amazon. And the big story is going to be I'll call it a mini turnaround that they're seeing on e-commerce as well as cloud. We're going to look at the end of this week and say big tech's delivering. These knee-jerk reactions I view as kind of table scraps.
All right, Dan. So, I think, the big thing for Apple is China. So just give us a sense how you think that's going to be play out, or how you think Tim Cook's going to frame that out tomorrow night.
I think he's going to talk about demand's been relatively stable. There are some pockets of weakness, Huawei competition, but overall the upgrade opportunities and the ASPs look strong in the region. I mean, it's our view that units show growth this year. The street's now baking in, I'd say 5 to 10% decline. So if you start to hear that from Cook, along with services double-digit growth, you look what's happened to free cash flow, Keene always talks about. I mean, you start to now get a stock that should be closer to 250 rather than,
right.
180.
I got 30 seconds, Dan Ives. Use of cash. When do they get off their butts? Sweeney wants them to raise a dividend. He sent a note out there this morning to Amy Hood. They got to raise a dividend, share buyback, bond issuance. When does Microsoft grow up and act like a blue chip?
Yeah, and they talked about that Sweeney activist situation. and Look, and I think that's something over the next 6-12 months, there's going to be some massive deployment of capital allocation, just given they're generating more cash in some countries here.